At this time, we're going to stand
us on that important issue. I'm going to actually open my remarks this afternoon by acknowledging that I'm a Democrat who's willing to admit that it was wrong and it was a mistake for the Biden administration not to name someone to fill your role in the past. And I think it's important that members of our own parties are willing to do that. So just as I'm willing to make that admission here, I know that we don't have as many members on the other side of this recess, but I think it's really important that Republican members of this committee and this Congress also be willing to acknowledge when there's a disconnect or disagreement with the Trump administration. And so I just want to put that on the record. And I say all that because I know I often hear from small business owners who are impacted by misguided regulations that limit their ability to thrive in this economy. So we're looking for even the smallest of ways that we can make progress together. And unfortunately, the Trump administration has, in many places, made costs go up. And not necessarily in small ways, but in massive, crushing ways. As we talked about earlier, tariffs was a huge issue we were discussing, and the Center for American Progress estimates that between April and September of 2025, small businesses paid about $25,000 more per month for imports compared to those in the same period of 2024. Tariffs on key commodities like steel and aluminum have added new layers of red tape, not fewer. And while I appreciate the outreach on the fisheries, this is an area where I feel like the Office of Advocacy could do better to substantively address these issues. Moreover, tariffs, as awful as they've been, are sadly not the only problem. The Republican majority of this Congress, with the full-throated support of President Trump, sat on the sidelines as tax credits to keep health care affordable expired. Now, why does this matter? It matters because half of all adult enrollees in the Affordable Care Act marketplace either own a small business or work for one. The Republican resistance to addressing these health care costs have led to, on average, a 75% increase in premiums. That's over $4,750 for the average American family. It's why I hope that my colleagues this week will join me in voting to roll back this short-sighted Republican tax on hardworking Americans and small businesses by extending these credits. Students at the University of Maryland School of Business recently came together to survey the impact on federal policy changes on the Maryland business economy. When asked about the most significant challenges they faced as business owners in 2025, Maryland business owners said answers like DOGE, federal policy changes, and our own government working against us to kill our industry. So we have some real challenges ahead. I look forward to working with the chairman and you to find legitimate solutions that are for the small business owner. Chief Counsel, I know earlier you mentioned advocating for businesses. I guess my first question is, what, if anything, has your office done to calculate the impact of tariffs on small businesses?
Thank you for your question. And the two big steps I've been engaged in my first 5 months are, number one, listening to the small businesses, wherever they are, whatever they have to say, and then communicating that to those who make the rules. My office doesn't make the rules. So do
you have anything quantified, though, that you're using in terms of advocating for those small businesses?
A project, I've only been here 5 months. One of the projects I've been quite interested in is the revenue burden on small businesses. Believe it or not, there's not a summary statistic of that, and we've hired some very good people to work on that. We're not finished yet. And revenue consists of particularly the internal revenue, but there's an external revenue component to it too.
Yeah, I hope that we would have that kind of data before the administration would choose to make those choices, and certainly want to support you so you have that kind of data so you can argue against these tariffs that are hurting the average American business, the average American, in the same way that we know that these healthcare costs are crushing small businesses. And I want to work with you to help quantify that so that we can advocate for solutions. Our healthcare system costs have also gotten out of control, but in the meantime, we have to have a solution to address the fact that these are really tax increases crushing our businesses and Americans across this country. I thank you again for your presence. Look forward to working with you. And with that, Mr. Chairman, yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and I'd like to let everybody know that Representative Schmidt is running up the hallway.
I'm happy to take a few more minutes
And
if you want,
like
Mr.
to
Chairman.
take if you'd like to take one more minute, I'll give it to you.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. I know another area where we've talked a little bit about are the reductions and the rollbacks to the Inflation Reduction Act. President Trump has chosen to suspend a lot of those. There have been particularly green energy businesses across this country who have seen that. I'm just curious, Dr. Mulligan, what your engagement has been like with those affected industries and what you're hearing and how you're helping them navigate those rollbacks.
Thank you for your question. I'm not sure I organized my interactions under different statutes like the Inflation Reduction Act, but one that does come to mind, again, the fishermen are so unbelievably regulated, and they repeatedly expressed to me concerns, environmental concerns around the Inflation Reduction Act, with especially the wind farms, and they're churning out hot water in places that are not supposed to be hot water. It's hurting the whole fishing operation, and I think Secretary Burgum has been very quick to take action and to investigate that and stop any further damage to the fishing grounds due to wind farms.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the extra time, Mr. Chairman. And again, Dr. Mulligan, I'll just say I look forward to working with you to actually getting those quantifiable numbers around both the tariff impacts as well as the healthcare cost increases that we're trying to do something about this week. And I thank you so much.